My friend, you think you have time. That is a lie. You spend your days like a poor man wasting coins, like a rich man with endless money. Like life will always pay you one more salary called tomorrow. But tomorrow is a trap. It is not a promise. It is a story you tell yourself so you can sleep, stay until the end, and you will practice English while you face 8 brutal truths that can change your life. This is English Story Studio. Here, you train your English and your character at the same time. Calm words. Hard truth. Maybe you feel tired. Maybe you feel late. Maybe you feel confused. You want a better life, but you move in circles. You want better English, but you stay quiet. You want more money, more strength, more peace, but days pass and nothing changes. This pain is real, my friend. Many people live like this. They wake up, work, scroll, eat, sleep, and call that living. But that is not living. That is drifting. Today we speak about one life. Only one. We will walk through 8 brutal truths. First, we will face the lie of always tomorrow. Then we will face fear of judgment, the fear that stops people from starting. Then we will look at a painful twist. Your parents are getting older, and so are you. After that, we will face 2 pains, the pain of discipline and the pain of regret. Then we will talk about ambition and why you must stop saying sorry for wanting more. Then we will visit the graveyard of dreams, where dead plans sleep forever. Then we will learn why action cures fear, and at the end, we will make a new contract with life. Not next week, not next month, today. So let us begin with the first brutal truth. You live as if you have 500 years, not in your words, in your actions. You say, I will start later. You say, this year is busy. You say, I need more time. You say, maybe next month. This sounds normal. It sounds safe. It sounds smart. But often it is just fear wearing clean clothes. The always tomorrow illusion is simple. You believe there will always be another chance, another Monday, another birthday, another good season, another moment when you feel ready. But life does not work like that. Time is not your employee. It does not wait for you. It does not care about your mood. It does not slow down because you are afraid. Look at one normal day. You wake up tired. You check your phone. 5 minutes becomes 20, then 40, then you rush. You tell yourself, I will focus tonight. Night comes, you are tired again. You eat, you scroll, you watch one video, then another. Then you say the dangerous words, I will do it tomorrow. That sentence destroys lives, not in one day, in small pieces, quietly, slowly. Like water entering a house through a tiny crack. A man says he will get healthy tomorrow. 10 years pass. His back hurts. His energy is gone. A woman says she will learn English tomorrow. 5 years pass. She still feels small in important rooms. A young man says he will start the business tomorrow. Later, he works for a dream that is not his. A young woman says she will tell the truth tomorrow. Then one day she no longer knows who she is. This is how people lose a life. Not with one big disaster, with delay, with soft lies, with endless later. My friend, later is expensive. Later costs confidence. Later costs skill. Later costs money. Later costs peace. Later costs the person you could become. Jake was 26. He always had a plan. He loved talking about ideas. He wanted to start a small online store. Nothing huge, just a simple business selling useful home products. He watched videos. He bought a notebook. He made a logo. He told friends, I am almost ready. That was his favorite sentence. Almost ready. 1 year passed, then 2. Jake was still almost ready. He changed the logo again. He watched more videos. He compared platforms. He read comments from strangers. He asked 10 people for advice. He waited for the perfect moment, the perfect product, the perfect confidence. But perfection is another lie. One night, Jake met an old classmate named Ryan. Ryan was not smarter. Ryan was not more talented. Ryan just started. His first product was bad. His first website was ugly. His first month made almost no money, but he learned. Then he changed. Then he improved. Small steps. Real steps. A year later, Ryan had customers. Jake had ideas. That is the difference between action and illusion. One builds. One dreams. Stop. Be honest. How many times did you say tomorrow this week? How many hours did you give to your phone? How many minutes did you give to your future? Check your screen time. Check your bank account. Check your notebook. Check your body. These things tell the truth even when your mouth lies. The first step is simple. First, catch the lie. When you hear yourself say later, stop. Then ask one hard question. What can I do in 10 minutes now? Finally, do that one thing before your mind starts another excuse. Not a perfect plan, not a big promise. One real move. Open the lesson. Write the first page. Walk for 10 minutes. Send the email. Read one page. Save $1. Speak one English sentence out loud. Small action is an asset. Delay is debt. Now we move to the second brutal truth. You are afraid of judgment. This fear controls many lives. More than lack of money. More than lack of talent. People do not start because they are scared of faces, comments, laughter, and opinions. They want to learn English, but they fear mistakes. They want to start a business, but they fear looking foolish. They want to post their work, speak in public, ask questions, try something new. But they imagine people watching, laughing, judging. So they stay small to feel safe, but safety is not always safe. Here is the truth. People are not thinking about you as much as you think. They are busy thinking about themselves, their hair, their body, their bills, their pain, their fear, their future. Even when they judge you for 1 minute, they go back to their own life. You are giving too much power to people who will not carry your coffin. Emma wanted to speak English at work. She knew enough. Not perfect, but enough. Every time a meeting came, her heart moved fast. She thought, what if my grammar is wrong? What if my accent sounds bad? What if they smile? So she stayed silent. Week after week. Then a new worker came. Olivia. Her English was also not perfect. She made mistakes. Small mistakes. But she spoke anyway. She asked questions. She tried. She improved in public. After 6 months, Olivia had more confidence, more trust, and more chances. Emma had one thing only: regret. This is the price of fear of judgment. It steals your practice. And without practice, growth dies. My friend, people may laugh. Yes, some will. Weak people often laugh at beginners because beginners remind them of their own cowardice. But their laughter cannot build your future. Your silence cannot build it either. So choose your pain. A few moments of embarrassment now, or years of being stuck. A few bad sentences now, or a life with no voice. A small foolish step now, or a big empty dream later. At around this point, life gives you a cruel twist. Look at your parents. Really look. They are getting older. The face changes. The walk changes. The energy changes. The hair changes. Time is writing on them. Quietly. Every year. Every season. Now look in the mirror. Your youth is moving too. Maybe slowly. But it is moving. You are not standing outside time. You are inside it. So what are you waiting for? You see your parents and think they will always be there. That is a lie. You see your own face and think you are still at the beginning. That is a lie too. Time is not loud. It is quiet. That is why so many people miss it. A few years ago, your father looked stronger. Your mother moved faster. Their voices had more force. Maybe they still smile. Maybe they still cook. Maybe they still ask if you ate enough. But time is doing its work. It always does. The truth is simple and painful. The people you love are moving toward the end. And so are you. This is not a dark message. It is a clean message. A useful message. It cuts the fog. Many people do not live clearly because they think life is a long road with endless exits. But one day they look up and see something shocking. Their parents are old. Their body is tired. Their dream is still a sentence in their head. Their English is still weak. Their courage is still waiting. Their real life has not started. That moment hurts because the lie breaks. Ryan visited his parents one weekend. Nothing special, just dinner. His mother asked him the same question twice. His father stood up slowly from the chair. For 1 second, Ryan felt something sharp in his chest. Not panic. Truth. He saw it. Time had moved. While he was delaying, life was not delaying. While he was planning, life was aging. While he was afraid, the clock was still working. He went home in silence. That night he looked in the mirror for a long time, not to fix his hair, not to judge his face, to ask one real question: what am I doing? That question can save a life when you answer honestly. Not, what do I want people to think? Not, what is the easiest step? Not, how can I stay comfortable? What am I doing? Am I building or drifting? Am I loving people now or assuming I have time later? Am I learning now or saying one more year? Am I speaking truth now or hiding again? My friend, you do not need a tragedy to wake up. Wisdom should wake you up before pain does. But many people refuse wisdom. So pain becomes the teacher. Stop. Be honest. When was the last time you looked at your parents without distraction? When was the last time you looked at your own habits without excuses? Open your photos. Compare last year and now. Look at the faces. Look at your body. Look at your calendar. Where is your life going? Check your spending. Check your sleep. Check your output. The numbers do not flatter you. That is why they help you. Now hear this clearly. The point is not to become sad. The point is to become awake. Awake, people call their parents today. Awake people say, I love you while they can. Awake people stop wasting youth on lazy fear. Awake people understand that the right time is not found. It is made. So here is the move. First, name the life you actually want. Use simple words. Strong body. Better English. More money. Honest work. Deeper family time. Peace. Then choose one action that proves you mean it. Call your mother. Walk for 30 minutes. Study English for 20. Save money today. Finally, put it on the calendar again for tomorrow morning. Not as a wish. As a contract. The twist is painful because it kills fantasy. But fantasy needs to die. Because fantasy says you can wait. Truth says you are already spending the days, and that truth brings us to the next brutal lesson. The pain of discipline is real. People lie about this. They say discipline is easy once you find motivation. That is a lie. Discipline often feels boring, repetitive, heavy. It asks you to do what is right when your feelings want comfort. It asks you to wake up when the bed is warm. It asks you to save money when you want to impress strangers. It asks you to study when your mind wants easy entertainment. It asks you to train your body when your body wants rest. Discipline is painful because it goes against the lazy part of you. But there is another pain, the pain of regret, and regret is heavier. Discipline says, do it now. Regret says, you should have done it. Discipline burns in the moment. Regret burns for years. A student wakes at 6 to study English before work. Pain. A man says no to useless spending and puts money into savings. Pain. A woman goes to the gym after a long day. Pain. A young worker turns off the phone and builds a small skill every night. Pain. But now look at the other side. A person who never trained now fears the stairs. Regret. A person who never saved now lives one emergency away from panic. Regret. A person who never practiced English stays silent in rooms that could change their life. Regret. A person who never tried to build their own path now feels trapped in a job they hate. Regret. One pain is clean, the other is poison. Clean pain makes you stronger. Poison pain makes you bitter. Olivia learned this when she was 29. She wanted to leave a job that drained her. She dreamed of freelance design work. Nothing wild, just freedom to use her skill and choose her clients. But after work, she always felt tired. So she watched shows, scrolled, ordered food, slept late. Then every Monday she felt angry. She blamed the job, the boss, the economy, the city. Some of that may have been true, but one deeper truth was also true. She was refusing the pain that could free her. One evening, she wrote 2 sentences on paper: pain of discipline, pain of regret. Then she asked, which one am I already paying? That changed her. She started small. 1 hour each night. No perfect mood. No dramatic promise. Just 1 hour. She built a portfolio. Sent messages. Took small jobs. Improved. Saved. 1 year later, her life looked different. Not easy. Different. More honest. More earned. That is what discipline does. It does not give magic, it gives momentum. Many people want the result without the rule. Strong body without training. Good English without speaking. Money without restraint. Peace without honesty. Respect without work. But life is not emotional. Life is structural. It rewards repeated actions. That is why discipline matters. Not because it feels good, because it compounds. One push-up becomes a stronger body. One page becomes knowledge. One saved dollar becomes stability. One brave sentence becomes fluency. One focused hour becomes a new path. And the opposite compounds too. One lazy morning becomes a habit. One excuse becomes an identity. One wasted hour becomes a wasted week. One lie to yourself becomes a life you do not respect. My friend, do not wait to feel disciplined. Feelings are weather. Discipline is a roof. You build it so the storm does not control everything. Here's the practice. First, choose one daily rule that hurts a little but helps a lot. Wake at a fixed time. Study English for 20 minutes. Walk after dinner. Save 10%. Write 1 page. Then make the rule small enough that you cannot hide from it. Finally, protect it with silence. Do not announce it to everyone. Just do it again tomorrow. Because discipline loves repetition, and ego loves talking. Stop. Be honest. What pain are you choosing today? The pain of turning off the screen? Or the pain of becoming weaker every month? The pain of saving money? Or the pain of always feeling behind? The pain of studying English? Or the pain of staying invisible? Check your habits from the last 7 days. Not your intentions. Your habits. That is your real direction. The old version of you will fight this message. It will say, I need balance. Sometimes balance is wisdom. Sometimes it is a pretty word for cowardice. It will say, I work better under pressure. Maybe, or maybe you are addicted to delay. It will say, life is short. Enjoy it. Yes, life is short. That is exactly why you must stop wasting it. Because regret at the end of life is not loud like a movie. It is often quiet. A man sitting with thoughts he cannot escape. A woman remembering the version of herself she betrayed. A parent realizing they gave their best energy to distraction and their leftovers to the people they loved. Nobody wants that ending, and still many choose it every day. The truth is hard. Freedom asks a price. Growth asks a price. Self-respect asks a price. The price is discipline. Paid daily. in boring moments, in hidden moments, and nobody claps for you. That is why most people never change. They want applause before effort. They want certainty before movement. They want comfort and transformation at the same time. Usually you cannot have both. So choose. Choose the gym over the excuse. Choose the lesson over the scroll. Choose the savings over the image. Choose the difficult conversation over silent resentment. Choose now over later. Because one day later becomes never. And never is full of regret. In the next part, we go deeper. We will face ambition, guilt, and the dangerous habit of saying sorry for wanting a bigger life. Many people feel guilty when they want more. More money, more freedom, more skill, more respect, more peace. They lower their voice when they speak about success. They hide their goals. They laugh at their own dreams before other people can do it first. This is a sad habit, and it is a dangerous one. You have learned to apologize for ambition. You say, I do not need much. You say, I am okay with average. You say, I do not want to look greedy. You say, maybe I should just be grateful. Gratitude is good. Cowardice is not. Wanting a better life is not a sin. Wanting to build wealth is not evil. Wanting to escape mediocrity is not pride. Wanting to become excellent is not selfish. It depends on how you do it. If you want money by lying, cheating, using people, and selling your soul, that is corruption. But if you want money because you want freedom, security, choice, and the power to help the people you love, that is not corruption. That is responsibility. My friend, poor thinking often wears a moral mask. It says, rich people are bad. It says, success changes people. It says, ambition is selfish. It says, do not want too much, but listen carefully. A lot of people say this because your ambition makes their comfort feel weak. Your discipline reminds them of their excuses. Your movement makes their stillness visible, so they call your fire too much. Do not believe them. A man who wants to earn more so he can care for his parents is not selfish. A woman who wants to become excellent so she never has to beg life for scraps is not selfish. A worker who wants to leave survival mode is not selfish. A student who wants strong English, better opportunities, and a bigger life is not selfish. The truth is simple. Small thinking protects the cage. Big thinking does not mean loud thinking. It does not mean fake luxury, stupid pride, or endless showing off. Real ambition is quiet. Real ambition wakes early. Real ambition studies after work. Real ambition saves money while other people spend to impress strangers. Real ambition says no to comfort today so freedom can grow tomorrow. Ryan learned this when he got his first real raise. It was not a huge amount, but it mattered. He felt proud for 1 hour. Then guilt came. He heard old voices in his head. Do not get too big. Do not change. People like us do not think that way. Be normal. Normal. That word kills many futures. Ryan almost shrank back. He almost acted smaller so other people would feel safe around him. He almost stopped speaking about his goals. He almost cut his dream down so nobody would call him arrogant. But then he asked a better question. Who benefits when I stay small? Not his family, not his future children, not his health, not his peace, not his dream. Only fear benefits when you stay small. So he made a new decision. He would not apologize for wanting more. He would stay humble, yes. He would stay honest, yes. He would work, yes. But he would no longer act ashamed of his own hunger. That matters, because shame weakens effort, and clear desire strengthens it. Stop. Be honest. Do you feel embarrassed by your own goals? Do you hide your plans so nobody can judge them? Do you speak softly about money because you think wanting wealth makes you bad? Look at your language. Do you always make your dream smaller when you describe it? Do you laugh after saying it as if it is a joke? That laugh may be fear. Here is the correction. First, tell the truth about what you want. Say it in one clean sentence. I want financial freedom. I want strong English. I want to build a business. I want to become excellent at my work. Then remove the apology. No nervous smile. No fake modesty. Finally, attach your ambition to service and discipline. Ask, who becomes safer, stronger, or freer if I succeed? That question keeps ambition clean, because ambition without values becomes greed, but ambition with values becomes leadership. Now we go to one of the hardest truths in this whole story. The richest place in the world is not a gold mine. It is not Wall Street. It is not a luxury city. It is not a bank. It is the graveyard. Because in the graveyard you will find books never written, businesses never started, love never spoken, skills never trained, songs never sung, trips never taken, truth never told, lives never fully lived. Dreams are buried there every day, not because people had no talent, not because they had no chance, often because they waited, because they doubted, because they feared judgment, because they loved comfort, because they said later, because they died before they gave life their real answer. This is the graveyard of dreams, and most people do not think about it because it is too uncomfortable. They would rather stay busy. Scroll, eat, complain, work, sleep, repeat. Anything is easier than asking, what dream am I burying alive right now? Emma once found an old notebook from her early 20s. Inside, she had written a list: learn English well, travel alone once, start a small online business, get stronger, write something honest. She was now 34. The notebook felt like a message from a younger self. Not a dramatic self, a truthful self. She sat on the floor and turned the pages slowly. There were little plans, little hopes, little promises. Most had one thing in common. She had not done them. She was not lazy in the usual way. She worked hard at her job. She paid bills. She helped people. She looked responsible. But deep down, she knew something painful. She had used responsibility as a cover for postponement. She had become efficient at survival and weak at living. That is how dreams die in modern life. Not with fire. With admin. With routine. With endless reaction. With low energy. With fear dressed as maturity. My friend, maturity is not killing your dream. Maturity is building it without drama. The graveyard is full of people who are almost ready to begin, almost ready to speak, almost ready to leave, almost ready to create, almost ready to become who they knew they could be. Almost ready is a sad place to die. Nobody on their final day says, I wish I had spent more time refreshing my feed. Nobody says, I am glad I protected myself from embarrassment. Nobody says, I am proud I stayed average so strangers would not talk. They think of the unwritten letter, the unstarted business, the body they never built, the language they never learned, the courage they delayed until delay became identity. And this is where the truth becomes sharp. Nobody is coming to save you. Not motivation, not luck, not your boss, not your friends, not a perfect year, not a cleaner schedule, not a sudden burst of confidence. You must rescue your own life, not with one giant heroic move, with repeated honest action. A dream is not a magic wish. It is a debt. It asks you to pay in focus, time, energy, discomfort, and discipline. If you do not pay, the dream does not disappear. It turns into regret. That is why the graveyard is rich. It collects unpaid dreams. Stop. Be honest. What dream have you been postponing for years? What skill still lives only in your head? What project do you describe more than you do? Open your notes app. Open your old messages. Open your journal. What goal keeps returning? That returning is not random. It is your life asking again. Check your weekends. Check your spending. Check your attention. These show what you serve. Now answer with action. First, choose one dream that still has heat in it. Not 10. 1. Then cut it down into a living step you can do this week. Not build a company. Register a name. Make one page. Call one client. Study one lesson. Finally, set a cost. What will you stop doing so the dream can breathe? Less scrolling. Less spending. Less gossip. Less sleep waste. Because every dream needs room. And comfort takes room too. You cannot fill your life with noise and then complain that your calling is quiet. The graveyard of dreams should frighten you a little. Good. Some fear is useful. It reminds you that life is not a rehearsal. This is the real stage. This is the real script. These are the real years. You are not warming up for life. You are in it now, so do not bury what still wants to live. In the next part, we move from fear to cure. We will face the simple truth that action, not thinking, is what finally breaks fear. Fear feels powerful when you stand still. That is why so many people think fear is a wall, but often fear is smoke. It looks thick from far away. It looks dangerous. It looks like a sign to stop. But when you walk into it, you learn something important. It was never as solid as it looked. Action cures fear. Not perfectly, not in one day, but action is the only real cure. Thinking about fear makes fear bigger. Talking about fear can make fear more elegant. Explaining fear can make fear sound intelligent, but moving into fear changes your relationship with it. That is the difference. A person afraid of English does not become free by reading 10 more tips about confidence. They become freer by speaking. A person afraid of the gym does not become free by buying better shoes. They become freer by training. A person afraid of selling does not become free by watching another business video. They become freer by making one offer. A person afraid of rejection does not become free by waiting to feel ready. They become freer by hearing no and surviving it. My friend, fear grows in rooms where action is absent. That is why delay is so dangerous. Delay feeds imagination. And imagination, when ruled by fear, becomes torture. You imagine people laughing. You imagine failure. You imagine shame. You imagine loss. You imagine pain. Then you avoid action. And because you avoid action, your mind never gets new evidence, so fear stays king. Action brings evidence. Evidence says, I spoke and survived. Evidence says, I tried and learned. Evidence says, the thing was hard but not deadly. Evidence says, I am stronger in motion than I was in fantasy. This is why brave people are not fearless people. Often, they are just people who learn that movement shrinks monsters. Olivia learned this in a simple way. She wanted to make videos in English online. Nothing huge. Short lessons. Simple thoughts. She had a clear idea. She also had fear. A lot of it. She hated her voice. She hated her face on camera. She thought her grammar would sound weak. She imagined comments. She imagined silence. She imagined people from her past watching and judging. So she prepared, and prepared, and prepared. She changed the background. She bought a small light. She wrote notes. She practiced alone. She deleted test videos. She waited for a day when she would feel confident. That day never came, because confidence usually comes after action, not before it. One evening she was tired of her own excuses. Not inspired. Tired. That is enough sometimes. She put the phone on a shelf and recorded one short video. It was not smooth. She spoke too fast. She looked nervous. She almost did not post it. Then she remembered a hard truth. Keeping your fear private does not make it noble. It only keeps it alive. So she posted it. Nothing dramatic happened. A few people liked it. One person corrected a small mistake. Another person said, "Thank you. This helped me." That was all. But inside Olivia, something important changed. She now had proof. She could act while afraid. That proof mattered more than praise. The second video was easier. The fifth was better. The 10th was normal. Fear did not fully vanish, it lost power. That is how action cures fear. Not by magic, by repetition. Ryan learned the same thing with money. He wanted to start selling a simple service online. He kept saying he needed one more month to prepare. Better website, better pricing, better portfolio, better confidence. But really, he feared rejection. He feared hearing no. He feared looking small. Then he made a rule. Every day for 30 days, he would send one offer. Just one, not 20. One. The first day hurt. The third day still hurt. The seventh day hurt less. By the 20th day, he had a rhythm. By the 30th day, he had data. A few no replies. A few rejections. A few maybe answers. And one yes. That one yes did not just bring money. It broke a spell. Because fear had told him, do not move. Action replied, too late. I already moved. Stop. Be honest. What fear are you protecting right now? The fear of speaking? The fear of posting? The fear of starting? The fear of hearing no? Look at your behavior. What have you been preparing for too long? What task do you rename as research? Because the real word is fear. Check your drafts. Check your saved ideas. Check your unopened textbook. Check the business plan that lives only in your head. The cure begins with exposure. First, name the fear in one sentence. I am afraid people will laugh at my English. I am afraid nobody will buy. I am afraid I will fail in public. Then choose the smallest action that touches the fear directly. Speak for 2 minutes. Post one piece. Send one offer. Go to one class. Finally, repeat it before your mind can build a story around it. That last part matters. Do not let fear become philosophy. Some people become experts at elegant avoidance. They use smart words, timing, strategy, optimization, alignment, balance. They talk beautifully about their future while doing nothing that threatens comfort. This is not wisdom. It is delay with makeup. Truth is simpler. If you are afraid to speak English, speak English. If you are afraid to be seen, let yourself be seen. If you are afraid to sell, offer something. If you are afraid to leave the dead path, take one step off it. You will shake. Good. You will feel awkward. Good. You will make mistakes. Good. Beginners are supposed to look like beginners. The problem is not that you are new. The problem is that you want the respect of experience without paying the price of practice. You cannot have that. And this lesson is bigger than language, bigger than work, bigger than money. It touches identity. Every time you act in fear, you send yourself a message. I do hard things. I keep promises. I move before I feel ready. I can survive discomfort. That inner message builds self-respect. And self-respect matters more than hype. Motivation comes and goes. Fear comes and goes. Opinions come and go. But self-respect stays when it is earned. That is why small, brave actions change more than outcomes. They change the person doing them. A quiet person becomes someone who speaks. A hesitant learner becomes someone who practices. A worker becomes a builder. A dreamer becomes a doer. Not all at once, but truly. There is also another truth. Action does not just cure fear. It reveals reality. Sometimes reality is better than your fear. Sometimes it is harder. Both help you. Because reality can be worked with. Fantasy cannot. A real mistake can be fixed. A real weak point can be trained. A real rejection can teach you. A real gap can be closed. But imagined fear gives you nothing. No lesson. No muscle. No progress. Only tiredness. So the rule is simple. Step into the thing. Then step again. Do not wait for courage to become comfortable. Courage often feels uncomfortable. Do not wait for fear to disappear. It usually weakens only after movement. Do not ask, how do I stop feeling afraid? Ask, what action would make this fear smaller by tonight? That question creates movement. Maybe tonight you read one page out loud. Maybe tonight you record your voice. Maybe tonight you send the message you have delayed. Maybe tonight you do 10 push-ups. Maybe tonight you write the first paragraph. Maybe tonight you open the account, build the page, or start the lesson. Tiny action, real contact, honest evidence. And once you see that fear can be entered, you are ready for the final turn in this story. Not just a lesson, a contract, a line in the ground, a moment where the old life ends and the new one begins. In the next part, we write that contract together. Today is not a normal day. It can look normal from the outside. The same room, the same phone, the same face in the mirror, the same job, the same bills, the same noise. But a life does not change first on the outside. It changes when a person makes a real decision inside. This is your new contract, not a mood, not a speech, not fake motivation, a contract. Today is the first day of the rest of your life. Read that again in your mind. Today is the first day of the rest of your life, not next Monday, not after New Year, not when life becomes easier, not when fear becomes smaller, not when someone finally believes in you. From this moment, everything changes from this moment. That does not mean your whole life becomes perfect tonight. It means the direction changes tonight. The standard changes tonight. The excuses lose power tonight. The old story ends tonight. For many years, maybe you lived under a bad contract. Maybe it said, I can start later. Maybe it said, I need permission. Maybe it said, I must be liked by everyone. Maybe it said, I should hide my ambition. Maybe it said, I will move when I feel confident. Maybe it said, my dream can wait. That contract was a lie, and every lie has a cost. It cost you energy. It cost you time. It cost you courage. It cost you money. It cost you self-respect. So now you need new terms. A real contract has clear language. No fog. No drama. No pretty excuses. Here is the truth of the new contract. I accept that my time is limited. I accept that fear will come with me. I accept that discipline is painful. I accept that regret is worse. I accept that nobody is coming to save me. I accept that my life will be built by my repeated actions. I accept that from this moment I stop waiting for permission. That is strong language. That is adult language. That is builder language. Emma wrote her contract after a painful Sunday night. She had spent the whole weekend half resting, half avoiding, half worrying. A strange tiredness, not from hard work, from inner conflict. She wanted change, but she kept serving comfort. She wanted confidence, but she kept protecting fear. She wanted a better life, but she kept acting like a guest in her own future. So she sat at her table with one blank page. No perfect journal, no special music, no dramatic plan, just one page. At the top she wrote, my new contract. Then she wrote 3 promises. I will speak English out loud every day. I will save money before I spend it. I will build 1 hour each night before I rest. That was it. Simple, specific, alive. The next day was not magical. She still felt resistance. She still wanted comfort. She still had doubt. But now there was a contract, a line, a standard. When she wanted to drift, the page spoke back to her. When she wanted to delay, the page accused her. When she wanted to feel sorry for herself, the page asked one clean question. Did you keep the contract? My friend, this is why vague goals fail. They sound nice, but they do not command behavior. I want to improve is vague. I will study English for 20 minutes at 7 p.m. is a contract. I want more money is vague. I will save 10% and stop buying useless things is a contract. I want to get in shape is vague. I will walk every morning and train 3 times a week is a contract. A better life is built by clear agreements with yourself. And here's the hard part. You must keep the contract, especially when you do not feel inspired, because a contract that works only in good moods is not a contract. It is a wish. Stop. Be honest. What promise do you keep breaking to yourself? What sentence do you repeat every month without proof? What standard do you talk about but not live? Check the last 30 days. Not your dreams. Your evidence. Did your calendar match your values? Did your spending match your goals? Did your body reflect your priorities? Did your screen time reveal your true God? That question matters because everybody serves something. Some serve comfort. Some serve image. Some serve distraction. Some serve truth. Your contract decides your master. So let us build the contract in a strong way. First, choose your identity. Not what you want to have. Who you will be. I am a person who keeps promises. I am a builder. I am a learner. I am someone who faces hard things. This matters because identity drives behavior. Then choose 3 rules only, not 10. 3. 1 rule for your body. 1 rule for your mind or skill. 1 rule for your money or work. For example, I will sleep before midnight. I will practice English every day. I will save before I spend. Or, I will train 4 days a week. I will write 1 page a day. I will send 1 business offer every weekday. Then choose the consequence, not punishment. Consequence. If you break the contract, you must see it clearly. Mark the page. Restart the count. Remove a comfort. Tell the truth. No hiding. Why? Because adults need accountability. Children want endless chances without cost. Adults understand that every action writes character. This is where many people get soft. They say, be kind to yourself. Sometimes, yes. But kindness without honesty becomes self-betrayal. Real kindness tells the truth. Real kindness says, you are wasting your life. Real kindness says, put the phone down. Real kindness says, go study. Real kindness says, stop spending money to look rich and start building actual wealth. That is not cruelty. That is rescue. A contract also needs repetition. Not intensity for 2 days. Repetition for months. That is how your nervous system changes. That is how your habits obey. That is how your self-image becomes real. Ryan used a simple method. He put a small card in his wallet. On it were 5 words. No more waiting. Build now. He saw it every time he touched money. That mattered, because money is moral in one clear way. It reveals priority. When he wanted to waste money, the card reminded him of the contract. When he wanted to delay work, the card reminded him again. A small object, a strong effect. You need reminders because the old self is clever. It returns with new excuses. It says, today does not count. It says, you deserve a break. It says, start again next week. It says, 1 night off is fine. Sometimes rest is wise, but often the old self is trying to reopen the old contract. Do not sign it again, because you already know where it leads. It leads to drift. It leads to self-doubt. It leads to weak habits. It leads to hidden shame. It leads to regret. And regret has a long memory. So tonight, write your contract. Write it by hand if you can. Use plain language. Use strong verbs. Read it out loud. And when you finish, do not celebrate with emotion. Prove it with behavior. 1 action tonight. 1 action tomorrow morning. Then again tomorrow night. That is how a new life begins. Quietly, clearly, without permission. In the final part, we close this journey. We gather the truths, we make the vow, and we decide what kind of person walks forward from here. My friend, now you have heard the truths. Tomorrow is not promised. Judgment is weak. Your parents are aging. Your youth is moving. Discipline hurts. Regret hurts more. Ambition is not a crime. Dreams die every day. Action cures fear. And a new life begins when a new contract begins. This is the conclusion. Life is not asking you to be perfect. Life is asking you to be honest. Honest about your fear. Honest about your waste. Honest about your habits. Honest about what you want. Most people never become strong because they keep lying in soft language. They call delay timing. They call fear care. They call comfort balance. They call hiding peace. But truth is simpler. You know where you are weak. You know what you avoid. You know what must change. And now you know one more thing. Change does not begin later. It begins when you stop protecting the old self. So stand up inside your own mind, not with noise, with decision. Say, I will not waste this life. Say, I will not live as if I have endless years. Say, I will not betray my future for cheap comfort. Say, I begin now, because this is your life, your one life. And now I want to speak to you very directly. Maybe nobody ever told you this in a clear way. Maybe people told you to relax, wait, fit in, be realistic, ask permission, keep your head down, and stop wanting so much. Maybe they trained you to be polite to the world and cruel to your own potential. Maybe you became skilled at surviving and forgot how to build. But hear me now, you are still here. That means the story is not finished. That means the dream is not fully buried. That means the contract can still be written. That means the body can still get stronger. That means the language can still be learned. That means the money can still be managed. That means the fear can still be faced. That means the future can still be changed. Not all at once, but truly. Nobody is coming to save you. This sentence is hard. Good. It should be hard, because hidden inside that hard sentence is freedom. If nobody is coming to save you, then you stop waiting. If nobody is coming to save you, then you stop giving your power away. If nobody is coming to save you, then your hands matter again. Your choices matter again. Your mornings matter again. Your attention matters again. That is not bad news. That is adult news. You do not need a new personality. You need a new standard. You do not need more motivational quotes. You need cleaner behavior. You do not need to look confident. You need to practice courage. You do not need to win big this week. You need to stop losing small every day. So after this, do something real. Call your parents. Study your English. Delete one distraction. Save some money. Train your body. Write the page. Send the message. Make the offer. Speak the truth. Start the thing. Small move. Real move. Tonight. And when fear speaks, let action answer. When laziness speaks, let the contract answer. When shame speaks, let truth answer. When the old life calls you back, do not go. Walk forward. Become the kind of person who creates, not only consumes. Become the kind of person who builds, not only dreams. Become the kind of person who acts, not only plans. Become the kind of person who keeps promises when nobody is watching. That person is not far away. That person is built by repetition. This is the vow. From this day, I will face what I avoid. From this day, I will respect my time. From this day, I will stop apologizing for wanting a better life. From this day, I will choose the pain that builds me. From this day, I will not wait for permission. From this day, I will practice, build, save, learn, and move. From this day, I will live like my life is real, because it is, my friend. This is English Story Studio. Here, we do not drift. We build. We learn English, and we learn how to stand up inside our own life. So if this spoke to you, stay with this community. Subscribe. Leave a comment with one real action you will take today. Not a big speech. One action. One promise. One proof. No more endless consuming. Start creating. No more drifting. Start building. No more later. Start now.